Just wondered what your thoughts on the draw were.
Well, because we're in pot number 2, we got basically what we expected. Maybe Paris Saint-Germain is the favorite. A very big ambition, but we want to qualify, of course, and if possible finish first of a group. We start in Paris, so that will be a very interesting test. I think Ludogorets at the moment we don't know a lot about them. And Basel, if you look at their record against English teams, you become cautious, because they've done extremely well against Chelsea, against Manchester, and I believe we have to be on our toes and prepare very well.
You've also been drawn against Nottingham Forest in the third round of the EFL Cup. What's your reaction to that?
Well, we want to do well in this cup because we have a big squad, and that's a competition we always played with our younger players, and certainly will integrate again some young players who have a promising future in this competition.
And just lastly from me, looking ahead to Saturday's game at Watford, what's the latest team?
Basically, we have the same squad available than last week, so that's I think will be a similar squad.
Arsene, hello. How important is it to get that first win before the international break? And does the international break come a bit too soon for your liking?
Yes, I would answer by yes to your two questions. We need a first win after our game at Leicester, and of course the international break comes too soon because I have players who go away with their national teams, so are not ready yet to start for us in a Premiership because we had to rest them because they played for international games.
So not everybody's completely up to speed yet then from...
No, not everybody's up to speed completely. We have still some players who are a little bit behind.
What have you made of Chris Coleman's comments about Aaron Ramsey? I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, obviously, but suggesting why did he play when you rested others on that first day of the season when he got injured?
Because he he didn't play the final, nor the semi-final, nor the quarter-final. So he was out basically 2 weeks before Özil and Koscielny and Giroud. That's the only reason. And he had the needed preparation time.
Joel Campbell's gone out now on his 5th loan. Does he still have a future at this club, or would it be more beneficial for him to go somewhere on a permanent deal?
I believe that he's a bit a victim of the size of a squad, and he is now at an age as well where he needs to play more regularly, and I don't rule out that he comes back here and plays, but he has gone to Sporting Lisbon, where I think it's an interesting championship because Portugal has always a very interesting championship, and let's see how it goes for him.
Now to the transfer questions. Obviously, Lucas Perez and Scott Mustafi are being heavily linked with you at this stage. Is there anything you can say in terms of whether those deals are close, or on a general level, whether you expect to make a signing in the next 24 to 48 hours, for example?
We are working on the deals. We are not close enough to announce you today that they will sign for us. And will we sign anybody before the end of a transfer window? I'm 99% confident.
And transfer deadline day itself, do you expect it to actually go that far? Do you think you'll be busy on the day itself?
On the day, I think today maybe I'm a bit too optimistic, but I hope we'll have done what we wanted before.
One of the issues that seemed to emerge last weekend was at corners, for example, shirt-tugging, grappling, couple of penalties awarded. Do you think if the referees are going to clamp down on that, it's a good thing, and is it something you've discussed with the players?
We discussed that not only with the players and with the referees. I believe what could be interesting as well, what I see more and more, is the position of the referees during the games. Many way many times they are in the way of the game, of the pass, of the next pass, because they want to be too close to the ball. That is a very interesting debate, I think, and on the difficulty on the corners is sometimes you have 3 different fouls, and the referee has to choose the most obvious one. But it's not easy first to see everything, because sometimes even when you watch a game you see only on slow motion that you have 2 or 3 other fouls on the corner. So what you want is that it becomes cleaner, yes. In the past were many attempts to clear that out, and it never worked.
I wonder what you made of Daniel Sturridge's comments about not wanting to play out position as a striker, and Jurgen Klopp, his manager, suggesting, look, I expect my top players to be flexible and versatile and be able to play in different positions. I mean, is that the philosophy you have, or do you see players should play in the position that they're sort of primarily expected to?
I believe that to sign a contract with a club is first a social contract, and that means social responsibility towards the club and the team, and to serve the best interests of the club. If that coincides with your own interest, it's even better. But the priority is, of course, first to serve the club.
One last one from me. I mean, if you do get another central defender in, does that affect Callum Chambers' future at Arsenal? Is he likely to go out on
Future, no. The fact that he could go out somewhere and play, yes.
Thank you.
Arsene, just going back to the Champions League draw, you said PSG, in your opinion, are the favourites. I wondered why that was.
Because they are the team with absolutely unlimited financial potential, and that they have bought really well. But of course we want to challenge that. But we'll see. It's a good test for us to play against PSG. Our first game is on the 13th of September already, you know, so let's hope we can get a good first result there. But they have hit the headlines on the transfer market in the last 5-6 years.
Does it make it better for Arsenal that you're in a more competitive environment in the Premier League, because they won Ligue 1 by 31 points last season?
It has been a little bit a handicap last year for them, I feel, because they were in the position of Bayern the year before, won the championship in January, and to maintain the focus after is a bit difficult.
What are the reasons, do you think, behind FC Basel doing so well in recent seasons? Is it their buying power, for instance, in Switzerland, or is it the good youth academy? Because obviously you've signed a couple of their players. Chelsea have gone there too.
Yeah, I believe it's a mixture of they are a little bit the dominant team in Switzerland, so they do a little bit what they want in their own country. They have good coaching system, good coaches in Switzerland. They have a good youth development system. And Basel especially has done some good scouting. You think about Salah and Neni, you know, players who come from Egypt, where maybe the English countries don't go too much. And they have been shrewd, and they scouted in countries where is less competitive edge maybe from big leagues.
How good is it for England as well that right now UEFA have said in 2018 their top 4 ranked nations will have a guaranteed 4 teams in the Champions League?
It's good, but I like more all on sport merit, you know, and the rules changed a little bit. I haven't looked at the rules yet, so it's very difficult for me to assess it. But the fact that we have 4 teams in England is great.
And the last question, I wanted to kind of get a thought or two from you on the transfer market in general this summer, because obviously there are more funds available now for English clubs. Have you, as a manager, noticed a difference in the market at all?
Honestly, it was a strange transfer market. I expected it to be easier than ever, and it was more difficult than ever, because not a lot has happened. That it looks like when you come out with an English passport that you're hit with prices that are very difficult to understand compared to the quality of the players. And it looks like it will be frenetic for me in the last 3 days, and that everybody sat on his pounds until now, but we know they will all splash out now, you know, and so I expect the next 3 days to be very, very busy. So be on alert.
Oh, well, thank you.
Is that going to be any distraction when it comes to the Watford game?
Not for me, not for us, no. We know the priorities is to get results and to win your next game. And especially we have shot ourselves in our foot, you know. And so we have to respond very quickly, because when you look at the other teams, they made points.
In terms of strikers in the Premier League, how difficult is a player like Troy Deeney to handle? How do you rate him?
Like?
Troy Deeney. How do you rate him? How difficult is he?
I rate him because he's a player who is, first of all, he has technical quality, and he's as well a fighter. And to have these two together is not easy to find. And he's very strong in the duels, in the challenges, and in the link play as well. So I was impressed by him last year.
And do you think that Watford's attack is the concern for this weekend, especially considering that you're trying to bolster your defence at the moment?
They have been very efficient last year up front, the two strikers together, Igalo and Deeney, and one of the keys for us will be to keep them quiet, of course.
You said that you added a couple of youngsters in the EFL Cup. Do you see any other people coming through to break into the first team?
We have a few who had a very good pre-season, like Chris Willock, Jeffrey Aladier, Ren Adelaide, not Aladier has been here as well, Adelaide, and Chubakpom, Chris Willock, Adelaide are the three who have been outstanding. Chris Bielik as well has done extremely well, so they could play, yes.
Arsene, is Ozil likely to be ready to start?
He's not far now. That's a decision I have to make in the next 24 hours.
What about Giroud? What about Olivier Giroud?
Giroud is still a little bit fraction behind physically.
Just on the transfer situation, you talked about these two deals. Do you think if you get them over the line, that would be enough to appease the supporters who have been critical about the lack of activity?
Look, I'm happy when our supporters are happy, but my job is to make the right decisions. And if that, it's exactly similar to the contract of the players, if that maintains the supporters happy as well, it's even better. So, but I focus first on making sure I make the right decisions for the club.
If the figures in the public domain are right, it will take your spending, assuming these deals go through, to about £100 million in this window. Does that kind of put to bed once
You
and for
accuse me now of being a money splasher.
No, but does that put to bed once and for all the idea that you don't spend big money here?
It's a shame you're not my friend. You would see when you go out with me, I spend a lot of money.
Let's go out. If you get those two done, will there be any more, do you think, or is it just going to be those two?
Look, we have already a big squad. We are already short on the numbers now. We have a requested number. We cannot have more players anyway.
Will it mean then that players will have to go out? You mentioned Callum Chambers. Is there likely to be others?
I don't think so, but with Joe Campbell going out, maybe Callum Chambers going on loan somewhere, we should be all right.